Sukuna and Kenjaku have been causing a lot of chaos in the recent chapters, demonstrating to us why they may be the main antagonists of the series. But with the way that Kenjaku has been playing with his toys lately, perhaps there's something a bit more orgasmic waiting for us, such as Gojo changing the scale of the Jujutsu system once more, but in the worst way possible. As we know, Kenjaku wants to evolve the era of cursed energy by essentially combining evolved humanity. He's evolving the current sorcerers to evolve them even more during the Culling Games. That's what the merger is for, and that's why the Culling Games are the way that they are now. But how do Gojo and Sukuna play into those roles? Since Gojo and Sukuna shifted the system of cursed energy, it could mean that a collapse between them could also evolve everything even more. However, releasing Gojo too early while everyone is still in their progressive stages wouldn't be too much, especially without the intensity of negative emotions. That's the role that Sukuna may play. Sukuna is meant to cause enough chaos to essentially bring all sorcerers into another level of awakening, and his fingers could play a role as well, as they would attract more curses and maybe cursed energy. And then it would all combine with everything else taking place within the Culling Games. Now during the massacre of the military, Kenjaku stated it had a purpose because basically, before death or in a life-threatening situation, the individuals will release large amounts of cursed energy, and since he's using the cursed energy to level up the overall environment of the Culling Games, it could be possible for those already with cursed energy to also experience a cursed energy rush. This would lead me to believe that the cursed energy rush from Gojo and Sukuna would be the pinnacle of the Culling Game, or at least the evolution of cursed energy. So there are a few hypotheticals relating to Gojo being the antagonist. There is the version where he indirectly becomes the antagonist, such as in the prison realm or at least through the consumption of Gojo being involved in the process, to which Gojo then retaliates as a phenomenon, basically meaning that the outcome of the consumption would involve unexpected consequences like the sudden explosion of the universe. The second being that Gojo, prioritizing Geto, will become a bit more unstable, targeting everyone as long as it means to save his best friend, Geto. Because, as stated by Gerger, he considers saving the weak a tiring task. From a writer's perspective, having a character that you dislike because they are overpowered, the best way to get rid of them is either make everyone else strong enough so that you don't have to worry about the overpowered character destroying everyone, or have one character stronger in some way, either in intelligence, special abilities, or physical attributes, because if you have an equally strong villain then the story won't go anywhere, but if you have two egotistical characters both powerful then one of them has to be a Dunning-Kruger. Usually the development of someone that was born with a lot won't be able to face a different type of reality because of what they were inherited with, so it would be difficult for them to experience the other reality and therefore difficult for them to see anything from that perspective and overvaluing themselves. In this case Gojo is the one that would suffer from such thing, as it may come back to bite Gojo, because while Sukuna actually tries to quote-unquote praise his enemies, or at least is able to acknowledge them, so far Gojo simply cares too much about himself to notice how much stronger an enemy is compared to them, so he will never know if he has bit off more than he can chew despite the curse information he may receive. On the other hand, Sukuna will know when he has bit off more than he chew. This could hint that Sukuna worked hard for his strength, while Gojo, well, of course we know Gojo didn't work hard for anything. Now I'm also starting to hate Gojo. But long story short, Gojo was captured the first time not only because he was distracted by his best friendo, but also because he failed to be selfish. So next time while going against the enemies, he knows that he definitely won't be able to protect everyone, and he may focus on the objective of killing Kenjaku. To avoid any more distractions that could risk him losing again, he will slaughter whatever is in his path during the moments of combat, and no one will be protected. The question that remains, however, is which figure is most important to him? Geto or Megumi? What do you all think may happen? Will Gojo be the final antagonist or protagonist? There's many expectations that once Gojo is released, he will jack out the box and come out on the enemies, but just like everyone else Gojo has weaknesses, and since Gerger will be finishing the manga soon, assuming that by finishing, they mean that the entire franchise, including any sort of backstories, will be done and not worked on. Based on the current circumstances for everyone in the Kaisen universe, the ending isn't looking too good. Gerger also stated that either one of the main protagonists will die and the rest will live, or the rest will die and only one will live, If Gerger wants to make Yuji suffer even more, then he could keep him alive, but it could be anticlimactic for some readers, and I don't know how someone like Yuji can survive a massacre from several overpowered villains, while on the other hand it would make more sense that Gojo would be the last survivor of the protagonists because he's really the only one that we can see successfully defend against most of the antagonists. Megumi is in a bad position. We might as well consider him dead. Nobara may or may not be dead, but she probably wouldn't change much despite her cursed technique. If any of the villains knew that she could harm their souls, they would likely one-shot her just to immediately get rid of the threat. Not only that, but considering the fact she was surprised at Yuji's speed, that greatly hints that she probably wouldn't be able to handle any of the culling game sorcerers because they are all at a different level in regards of speed. Gojo is inside the prison realm, so far experiencing no harm, and then there's Yuji being in the midst of the battles. Considering the situation, he is more likely to die since he's playing with a lot of fire right now. It's difficult to imagine how Yuji would be the only survivor because I'm curious if he will be the only survivor out of the protagonists but the other good sorcerers will still exist, or if everyone, literally everyone else, is just dead and Yuji is the only person left within the cursed energy spectrum. But it's difficult to imagine those situations without further details because in order for Yuji to survive all of what may happen, he will basically either have to be very durable and just immune to everything, or he may become more than a human during the progress in addition to his genetic mutation that would allow him to survive what the others couldn't survive. But Sukuna is supposed to be the king of curses, so would Sukuna really go down easily to whatever it is that may happen? Perhaps an unknown binding vow we don't know about yet that may terminate everyone. It's why I only see Gojo as the sole survivor, even though he may lose, because he's the only person so far that can actually shield against a lot of potential attacks. Furthering the case of why not only Gojo may be the sole survivor of the protagonists but also why he's more likely to be the final boss, aka the finale antagonist, in some way, shape, or form. Of course, this is all speculation, as there's not enough detail to really hint at a more predictable ending, but this is it for now, everyone. Post your own ending theories in the comments section.